Duane, can't hear you.
Woo! I had a chance to practice because I was mute monstered there. But you always get a Ric Flair woo every time the Sabres beat the Leafs. Sabres dominate the Toronto Maple Leafs 7-4 in a 4-point swing game. Always fun, and we'll get to our thoughts right here momentarily, but thank you for joining. I'll hang up and listen. Brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from. If you need to get a beer, you're celebrating tonight's win. You're celebrating, just Sabres hockey in general. You just want to go out for a beer with some bros, some what's the fee? What would a female version of bro be?
Dudes and
dudettes. Your bros and dudettes. If you want to go out and celebrate the Sabres, go check out Fatty Beer. Again, so many great beers on tap. And let them know that we over here at Two Goalies One Mike sent you. Of course, our sponsors with Extreme Discount Mattress with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds featuring the cool gel memory foam, two-sided mattress, Tele-Latex, organic mattresses, Chatham & Wells, and Scott Living, all for 1/3 to a half the supposed sale prices anywhere. Stop in any of their 7 locations across Western New York or check out their website, extrememattress.com. That's Extreme with an X. If you're looking for even more savings, check out their new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga with the 80% off their already low prices. Save a fortune on one-of-a-kind closeouts and floor samples. You get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And if you mention when you do go there to get a mattress, mention that you're a fan of Two Goalies One Mike, they will throw in a free mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress, free matching mattress protector. So that's pretty good deal. A steal, if you ask me. And also Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York, Western New York's premier place to get all your physical therapy done. 5-star staff, 5-star facilities, located at 5087 Broadway, Suite 100 in Depew, New York. I'm currently getting my physical therapy done there for my leg, which I broke, actually shattered my leg last February. They're helping me, get closer to hopefully getting back on the ice by the summer. So great staff over there. Ask for Alex. And again, let them know that we sent you over here at Two Goalies One Mike. Now, after the long-winded ad reads, Hurls, Sabres absolutely blow the Leafs away, 7-4. Dahlin 5-point night. A lot of good things to talk about. One not so good thing, but let's talk about the good stuff. Your immediate reactions.
I think we're all aware of what was announced yesterday by Rasmus Dahlin's fiance, Carolina Medovac, that in the process of her well-publicized heart transplant and failure last summer, which caused, it was announced before the season, and it caused Dahlin to take a short leave of absence in November, which he stayed a little bit extra for over Christmas break. He's only missed 4 games this season. I think a lot of people think, or at least there was a perception that he missed more games this season, maybe because he wasn't necessarily playing at an elite level. He only missed 4 games, which, considering the circumstances, I think, especially in the beginning of the season, because it was still recent, is pretty admirable. It was announced yesterday that during that process, she actually found out about the heart failure because she was pregnant. She was worried about the health of her baby, and she went to the doctors, and that's where and when she found out that she needed a heart transplant, which is really unfortunate timing for the sake of the baby, but fortunate for the sake of her own health in terms of potentially she may never have discovered that. So she announced yesterday that literally yesterday would have been the day their first baby would have been born. And cannot imagine how tough of a period this has been for both of them, not just Carolina, but Rasmus, their families. And for him to go out the next night in Toronto on the road,
a tough barn to play in. Yep.
In a crazy atmosphere in an important game, in a divisional game. If they had lost tonight, they would have been back in a wild card spot. I don't know how the tiebreakers would have worked, but for him to not only get a hat trick, but throw one of the most ridiculous sauce passes I've ever seen to Jack Quinn.
On the Quinn goal.
A full ice. He did it against the Islanders in overtime on Ryan Miller night to Dylan Cousins for the game-winning goal. He's done this a few times. He did it on his own empty net goal. For him to do what he did tonight, given the circumstances, putting everything in perspective, in my opinion, is one of the greatest performances in recent NHL history. And I don't say that lightly. I'm obviously a huge Rasmus Dahlin fan. I'm wearing his jersey. He's my favorite player. But it is remarkable what he accomplished tonight.
Wow. It's like that pass, man. That pass was like out of this world.
It's Mighty Ducks. Alley-oop.
Yeah, literally. That's what it was. That's what it was. Who was the one in the Mighty Ducks that scored that goal?
Russ Tyler, maybe? I don't know.
No, there's no way it was Russ Tyler. He only scored on the knuckle puck. Was it the Duane?
Oh no, I thought they lost the puck in that.
The alley-oop, wasn't it Duane who did it? The cowboy?
No, I'm thinking of the scene where they lost the puck and there was a guy that was outside of the roller rink and he just threw it back up to them and he said like alley-oop and it like.
Oh no. I'm thinking of like it was Dwayne Robertson. He flipped the puck up and everybody's kind of like looking at it. And I forgot who scored that goal. Maybe somebody in the chat could let us know. But like it was like essentially like an alley-oop play. Anyways, no, that was an incredible pass. And a highlight night for him, just career best night. We were talking before the show. I think the last time you probably had a player with 5 points was probably Tuch against Columbus, right? When he scored 5 goals.
Had to be.
It had to have been. We could be wrong. I don't know. The QEW is a lot quieter when the Leafs lose. You're welcome for the peaceful drive home. Go Sabres. It's always fun. I can't wait for Steve Dangle's LFR video tonight because I actually shot him a text. I want to say is after we went up 4-3 or maybe it was 3-2. I can't remember. But like quite the humdinger tonight. Huh? It was like it was the 5th goal in the first period. He goes, man, not really. One team is the better team, and it's not the team. It's the team that's currently in the playoffs. It's not the Leafs. And so you could already tell him that he was getting irritated. So I imagine, for those of you who watch, Leafs fan reaction videos, he's probably going to absolutely lose his fucking mind tonight. That probably won't be. This probably can't miss TV.
Yeah, I had some friends in the building tonight, and they said after they celebrated the first goal, they were getting threatened by Leafs fans in front of them, and it only stopped because a dad and his kid sat next to them. So I think that Leafs fans are definitely on edge. I think they're a little bit upset with the state of the team. The Sabres are now 8 points ahead of them. I think they are that's tough. Yeah, 8 points out of a playoff spot. 24, 20, and 9. The NHL's version of over 500, but they've lost more games than they've won, and they lost one of their best players this offseason, who I think was more of a glue guy than they thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, not great in Toronto.
Not at all, man. Things are falling apart. I wonder. I wonder. There was always the jokes on other podcasts, like, would they ever actually trade Auston Matthews? Would it ever actually happen? And given the state of the team and the direction they're heading in and all those contracts that they I don't know, man. Like you would get so much for Auston Matthews.
for sure. And who did Auston Matthews grow up playing with in Arizona?
Oh, I believe Tage Thompson
and Josh Doan.
Oh yeah. Are we gonna start the Auston Matthews the Sabres narrative?
I think you're the perfect person to do it.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't care.
Given how much you troll Leafs fans, go right ahead.
Yeah. I'm just gonna start showing the AI images of him in a Sabres uniform. Why the fuck not?
But I mean, I could talk for 30 minutes on Dahlin and what he accomplished tonight. But I think just generally looking at it from a team perspective, this team again obviously just keeps winning, but they're winning in different ways. Like we said it after the Islanders game, but look at tonight. They've banked on good goaltending for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And UPL gives up probably a couple of goals that he wants back in the first period. And then on the second goal, he gets hurt. And then Colton Ellis comes in, and even he gives up a weak goal to make it 3-3. And then even at 3-3, they were steadfast enough to not only apply the pressure, but execute on that pressure and take the lead and never give it back. And I think it speaks a lot about the character of this group. I think they really wanted to get the win for Dahlin tonight, and they wanted him to feel a little bit better than he was probably feeling the past few days, given the anniversary. But even beyond that, I think we're just confirming every single time we watch a game that this is a really good hockey team, and the goal should not just be to make the playoffs. I think this team could win a round. You said it before the show. You think they could win the division?
I think they could challenge for the division if they keep playing.
Currently, the Lightning are in the lead in the division. They have a game in hand on us, 5 points ahead. We've got 2 games in hands on the Red Wings. So the same points percentage as the Red Wings. The Red Wings are 32-17-5. The Sabres are 30-17-5. If they win their next 2 games, they are tied in points percentage with the Red Wings. And that would be 1 point back of the Lightning. Given the way that they're playing, I don't think it's out of the question. And the best comparison I can think of right now in recent NHL history is the 2019 St. Louis Blues. That team was in last place in December, early January. The worst to first. They made a coaching change. We made a GM change. I like to say the Sabres, but I can't help but say we, because this is just such a visceral fan experience. They made a change midseason, and it was a young group. They got good goaltending from Jordan Binnington, and they went all the way and won the cup. I'm not going to get all the way there at that point, because even the possibility of that doesn't even exist in my mind. No. It's the Tony Soprano meme. Like, it's too fucking crazy for me to even think about. But I'm thinking potentially Eastern Conference Finals. I really am.
I would have loved to know what the Vegas line was for that. Like, just to even get to the playoffs, let alone win 1 or 2 rounds, what that line would have been for the Sabres.
Wouldn't be as good of a bet now, but we should have bet Sabres Stanley Cup or playoffs, even in early December.
I mean, you don't count your chickens before they hatch, but that would have been some great money.
It just would have been really good value. Even 3 games into the streak would have been funny. But
it would have been great.
I really for those who have watched this team like we have these past 23 games, it's not crazy to say that they could win 2 rounds. It's not.
It's not. And who from the East are we actually scared of that we haven't played stride for stride?
We haven't played the Lightning yet. I'm not necessarily scared of anyone, but given that the Sabres haven't won in Carolina in 14 years, even that stupid game the other day, which I thought they outplayed the Hurricanes and actually really competed in. And then Logan Stankoven takes a dive, bad penalty, and the Hurricanes win on a power play. And obviously Brandon Bussey did what he did. Obviously, it was a matinee day game on Martin Luther King Day. That was a weird time. I think this team could they beat them at home. They beat them, I think it was 4-0 or 4-1. I was in the building for that game the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So sight unseen, it would be the Lightning, because they're the best team in the East, and the Lightning have the pedigree. They have the goalie. They have all the skill. But am I scared of the Lightning? No.
No, and that's the thing. I think we're faster than the Lightning. I think they edge us out at goaltending for sure. I mean, Vasilevsky on any given night can be the best goalie in the world. They do have Kucherov. They have, not Braden Point right now. Is he still out? I think he's still out, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And they still have a very good hockey team over there, but I'm not scared of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Bring them on. Bring on Tampa. Who cares? I don't fear a single team in the NHL right now. Not even Colorado.
And that's the crazy thing about this drought, because obviously there's a lot that went into it. I think a lot of Bills fans should be asking Sabres fans right now what went into the drought. And I mean, even obviously they've experienced their own drought, but there were a lot of mistakes along the way. Some preventable, some were bad luck. And it's so crazy that it's lasted this long, because there is so much parity in the NHL. Teams go from worst to first all the time. Teams go from really bad to competing for a playoff spot and winning playoff rounds in successive seasons. Teams have gotten out of rebuilds and have won the cup while the Sabres have had 4 different rebuilds that haven't worked. But it really does seem, I don't think it was necessarily just the GM change, because this roster clearly was like similar to what the season started with. I think it was that combined with the momentum, combined with them getting healthy, that they've really grasped it and they've ran with it to the tune of 19-3-1 in the last 22 games. It's just so insane.
Dude, like right here, like you said, Josh, drag race 22-3-1 over 25 is like what?
Wait. 22-3-1
over the last 25. Or I'm sorry, no. 22-3-1 over the last. Well, that's bad math. So he's probably.
No, I'm just looking. I'm looking at. So
I think
obviously,
he meant 22-2-1 probably.
Yeah, after those first 3 games of the road trip, when I'm sure Adams effectively lost his job, that 7-4 loss to Calgary on Monday, December 8th, they were 11-14-4, and then the record obviously right now is 30-17-5. So they are 19-3-1 in their last 24. Would that be 19-3-1 in their last 23? Yeah.
Oh, Tage had 5 points against Montreal a couple weeks ago, so it's happened twice, in both from Tage. So not surprising. I wanted Dahlin to have 10 points out of spite to the Leafs fans. I mean, again, the low point is obviously the UPL injury, which hopefully get some more information on that. I can't imagine it's good because they ruled him out almost immediately, Hurls.
Yeah, it didn't look good. I think a goalie injury when you see it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's just a strain, right? Like I think you and I know as well as anybody that you can have a groin strain. Hopefully it's not his hip, obviously, given the history of the double hip surgery. But it honestly looked pretty similar to what Alex Lyon dealt with at the end of that Blues game when he had to go in front of the net and affect that shot in front of the wide open net after the tough bounce behind the net. So maybe it's a hip flexor, maybe it's a groin. I think they just let him rest. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looked, and you go from there. I mean, obviously the 3 goalie rotation hasn't been ideal, but the fact that you can have Colton Ellis come in the game cold with the experience that he's gotten in the past 2 months and give you some big saves, especially in the late in the second and early in the third, I think is valuable. Who knows what they're actually going to do? Maybe it'll happen before the Olympic break. Maybe it'll happen before the roster freeze, but I do think it depends on the severity of UPL's injury.
Yeah, 100%. Last defenseman to score a hat trick for the Sabres was Ristolainen in 2015. Risto. Oh man, and Dahlin scored a Risto-like goal in front of the net tonight too, because Risto used to do that a lot. Listen, it's in terms of like the goaltending situation, we know his history with injuries with UPL. I tweeted out after we tweeted out the starting lineup, I said, because UPL has been playing good lately, Lyon has picked up right where he left off. I questioned, like, why is Colton Ellis still on this roster? Why are we still carrying 3 goalies? You've been getting the results from the other 2 guys. And we were discussing this in the chat. I said, like, it's tough enough when don't know when you're going to be playing, right? Like, you're trying to keep yourself game ready. These guys are professionals, but at the end of the day, like, when you're splitting shots between 3 goalies in an hour and 15-minute long practice on average, like, your shots are limited if you're not in the starter's net. And then you're also on top of that splitting those shots in practice. So, like, in my thoughts, and like Mike, who's also a goalie in our chat, he even said it too. He agreed. He goes, like, you could almost contribute possibly an injury like this, depending on what it is just based off the fact that maybe you're just not getting the type of reps you need in practice. You're not moving it. You know what I mean? And it's true, though. It's absolutely true. Like, it should be a 60-40 split or 65-35 split for shots between a starter and a backup at practice. And you're not getting that right now because but again, of course, UPL gets hurt tonight. I'm eating crow. And it's like, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know, man, like, do you feel confident with Colton Ellis being the backup goalie for the rest of the season? Especially, Mike also make a good point. Alex Lyons never played more than 44 games in an entire season. Like, he might hit a wall here if this UPL, and you know what I mean? We don't know that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I trust Colton Ellis to be that guy.
Well, I think the discussion and the reason Devin Levi's in Rochester is not because he's not good enough to be the backup. It's because they want
bring up Levi. I mean,
no, I
it's
know
an option, but like,
yeah, I think it's more so they want. We've talked about it many times before, but they want to get him as many games as possible. And clearly, Rochester resident Devin Levi is doing pretty well down there.
He gave a weather update today on his Instagram. Too,
yeah, still cold. Stay safe. We love you, Dev. Keep it up. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Colton Ellis is extremely chaotic, but I said it earlier in the game. He really battles in his net. He does. He gets to his spot. Sometimes he's a little bit out of position because I think he overextends himself. I do this myself when I play because I'm a smaller goalie and I want to take the angle away and be aggressive. And he's obviously doing it in the NHL. So the margins are way, way thinner.
Yeah.
I think he's done an admirable job given the situation, coming off waivers, this being his rookie season, never having had played in the NHL. And while his deeper analytics might not necessarily be the best, I think I'm fine with him as a backup, at least for now. I don't think we need to go out and trade for a backup, if that makes sense.
I think it depends on the price.
I mean, like Jesper Wallstedt, I saw was potentially on the market, but I don't think you trade for the Wall of St. Paul to be your backup.
No, definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it depends on the guy. I really do. If there's a veteran guy that you would trust a little bit more, a James Reimer type, or someone even a little bit younger than that potentially could give you quality starts in the playoffs, then yeah, maybe. But at this point, I don't think that's our number one priority.
I think somebody probably on an expiring contract too, but you might have to look into that because, again, this is the second time we've had this conversation about Ellis. Like, did he get the job tonight done yet? Yeah, but like, it's not. Like
hey, how about we trade him back to the Blues and we bring over Jordan Binnington?
Fuck no.
Hey, big game Binner.
Big game Binner. Watch him have another incredible like Olympics, or obviously.
And you know what? He's one of the worst goalies in NHL history this season in terms of goals saved below expected. Every single number has been horrible, but damn well he's going to start for Canada in the Olympics.
And he's going to play incredible too. Watch.
Although they should start Logan Thompson. They should. Because Logan Thompson is one of the best goalies in the NHL.
Yeah. 100%. I don't agree with this comment at all. Ellis is on the team purely because management, Yarmouth, do not have confidence in Levi. If they did, he would be in this role over Ellis. Ellis is the future. Trade Levi. I mean, as John, you have two goalies here. I feel confident in saying Colton Ellis is not the future. And that's because I don't have any bias towards Devin Levi. That's not the case. It's just the fact that he is not a very technically sound goaltender. Like, he fish out of water a lot. He gets in front of pucks, don't get me wrong. But if you hate UPL for sometimes because he gives up bad goals, there isn't much of a gap between him and UPL. UPL's ahead of him by a mile, in my opinion. And that's just, I don't know how you feel about that, Hurls, but that's just my opinion. And
yeah, I echo what I said earlier. They very much believe in Devin Levi. They just think it's smarter for his development to get as many games in Rochester as possible.
Now, if you weren't in a 3 goalie rotation, what I mean? You're bringing up Devin Levi, no doubt about it. Devin Levi is having a very good season in the AHL. Yeah, like his numbers are down compared to the previous 2 seasons, but he's also played more games than any goalie in the AHL at this point. Like, nobody's played more minutes than Devin Levi. He had a shutout the other night. I think he has 3 on the season. Like, and if you consider the fact that is not the same Rochester team he's played like that's played in front of him for 2 years now. No Consta Helenius. Isaac Rosen's probably missed half the season. no Noah Ostlund, no Zach Metza. They're missing a lot of key players. And what's his face? That was it Cal Clegg, who was their leading defense? Was it Cal Clegg? I forget who it was. Maybe some of the shit, but their leading defensive scoring player from last season also not on the team. He left. So like the fact that he's still playing as well as he is right now, given the depleted roster, I have no interest in trading a goalie who's only making $850,000 a year that could potentially have a higher ceiling than any current goalie you have in the organization.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know.
Let's get off that.
I think, yeah, for now, I think they go with Lyon and Ellis, see what's going on with UPL, see how long it is, and then if it is longer term, maybe they evaluate it from there.
Zach Jones is apparently their leading scorer right now in Rochester. So that's all you need to know. Right. Defenseman Zach Jones. Tage and Benson kind of picking up right where they left off before they got separated. A goal disallow, which for the offensive, the offsides review, which I hate. I hate when they do these. In my opinion, an offside review should only matter if it's scored off the, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's on the rush. I don't know how to explain this.
If it directly leads to the goal.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I personally, that would make it relatively subjective, but I think you could put a time limit on it. You can go back and figure out the time when the offside occurred, and let's say if 10 seconds go by, which feasibly would be any type of rush that would have led to a goal, then it should be inconsequential. It shouldn't matter to the goal. And at that point, it's the defensive coverage or lack thereof that led to the goal. I said earlier, I cannot wait until the Stanley Cup final on a power play. A team has maybe a minute and a half, a minute and 45 seconds of possession, maybe in overtime, and they score a goal, a cup final overtime goal, and then the other team goes back and challenges for offside and found out they entered the zone offsides a minute and 45 seconds before that. You think the NHL is going to like that? No.
Not at all.
Nobody's going to like that. And it just doesn't make sense. It is so illogical, and it has plagued this league and the fun of it. Even when it happens in favor of the Sabres, yeah, you're happy because you're a fan. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the objectivity of how fucking stupid it is.
You're literally spitting facts. Literally spitting facts. Even like,
and also even after every goal tonight, they have to pause the game for 10 seconds. Like, oh, like maybe we'll review it. Maybe
it's so dumb. You should they're like the second a goal is scored, there should be a clock on the coach. The moment you line up for a face-off is when, sorry, done. That's all the time you get.
Get an entire video team devoted to looking at every single waved offside, every single play. That's fine. But you have a certain amount of time to do it. And if a certain amount of time passes by from when they illegally enter the zone by an inch, mind you, then the play shouldn't matter. It's so unbelievably insane that they somehow got this rule passed. And I think, I mean, the NFL is equally flawed. Obviously, the catch thing we're all very familiar with, but every single year they have a competition committee and a rules committee that they vote on certain things that different teams can propose. We saw it with the Tuch push last year. We've seen different iterations of what is a catch in the review process, and obviously it's still not perfect, but there's at least a democratic system involved in terms of making meaningful change in that sport. Yep. And I just don't feel like that exists in the NHL. It is an autocracy, kind of like the government that we're living in right now. Like it's insane. And literally, Gary Bettman is the judge, jury, and executioner. And I just, the NHLPA, I think, should get involved. And when they collectively bargain again, whenever that is, that needs to be a talking point, because it ruins enough games for me that it's just a bad product.
Yep. And honestly, if you're going to challenge for goaltender interference and it comes back, yes, there should be a penalty. That drives me insane, Hurls. If you're going to call off a goal for goalie interference, then there needs to be a penalty call. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Tage and Benson looked fantastic. The whole point was to talk about Tage and Benson. We saw the goal that they scored, that Tage scored the other night from behind, the pass from behind the net from Benson. Again, on the disallowed goal tonight, but they really, RIP the HBO line, right? But I liked what I saw from Doan, Austin, and Hellenius, man. They were buzzing out there.
Yeah, I think Doan, if no one else, is a perfect replacement for Zach Benson on that line. I mean, if you're going to replace him with anyone in terms of similar play style and similar playmaking and creation, I think it's obviously going to be Josh Doan. So that's the good part about this group right now, that they have enough depth and they have enough line combinations that seamlessly on any given night they can put different guys together, and they all know each other well enough that they can compete and they can do what they do with anybody else. So it's really good to see, especially with how often Lindy changes his lines.
He loves to shake things up. Loves to shake things up. And in this case too, I mean, it worked. It won 7-4 tonight. Yeah. Hellenius, man, he gets a lot of good looks, man. He finds open ice. He gets himself into good spots. I think it's only a matter of time, if he keeps playing with Austin, because those two have a very built-in chemistry, obviously going back to their time, obviously together over the last season and a half in Rochester. But you keep on giving them time, and whether it's Doan or Benson or whoever it might be, when the puck starts going in for that kid, I don't think it's going to stop.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I read an article the other day about the comparisons that he naturally gets to Brad Marchand. And Brad Marchand was not doing what Zach Benson is doing at his age, and he didn't really start producing in the NHL until like his mid to late 20s. His play style had to adapt. He needed to get comfortable with playing the way that he eventually played, which was feared by every single other team in the league and loved by his guys. And that's what we're experiencing with Zach Benson right now. And I think we're going to get that high level production that we got from Brad Marchand in the future as well.
Yep, I agree. Good. Honestly, we got the Dahlin here. Like, shout out to Homer Simpson. Maybe that's the new name of the line, the Dahlin, if you say it that way, or you can call it the Homer line, paying homage to Homer Simpson. DOH. I don't know. Trying to be creative.
Yeah, you can.
Homer line.
How
does everybody feel about that in the chat? The people know that the Homer line.
The Homer line.
The Homer line. I like that. Ooh, that could. Why not? That'd be a funny.
Why not?
Talking point. I mean, Tuch again, second straight game with a goal. He cooled off a little bit. He's heating back up at the right time. I don't know where that conversation is going to lead about his contract. And, you have one roster freeze. You've seen two trades happen in the last 45 hours. Siplikov went to New Jersey in exchange for who went back the other way with picks. I forget. And then before that, it was Susie going to the Islanders out of from the Rangers. So you've seen two trades happen in the last 24 hours. I imagine there'll be a few more to come. I wonder how long Jarmo waits to make a decision on Alex Tuch. Does he wait? Does he try and get Benson signed to an extension first, along with maybe Kesslering? Or is that something you try and figure out immediately before you get to those two guys, just to know? I mean, I don't know. It's a very familiar situation for Jarmo, because he did this with Panarin and Bobrovsky. He had two guys on expiring contracts that he could have got huge returns for, and he let it ride with both of them, and they ended up sweeping Tampa in the first round. But how long do you think Jarmo waits to make this decision?
Well, I don't think he lets him go for nothing at the trade deadline.
I don't think he makes that mistake twice either. No.
Yeah. So I think, up until then, and he's got to be calling so that he has suitors just in case he needs to get it done. Like, if they're not close enough and they're not coming to the middle and they're so far apart that they can just mutually agree that, hey, like, this isn't going to work here, or at least for right now, and they want to test the open market, then you trade him. I think it's that simple. I really do. And it would be super unfortunate, because I think it would be a big hit to the room. I don't think Alex Tuch wants to leave. And I do think the team being as good as it is right now, and let's say he has the opportunity to be a part of the team that not only breaks the drought, but potentially goes on a little run here. I don't know. I think that maybe could be something that could bring his number down a little bit. I really do. And maybe they have a larger signing bonus. They can prorate it. They can go for less term, but more money up front, something to make him whole, or at least come to some compromise that makes it make more sense for him to stay with the Sabres. I could see some type of situation like that working out. Maybe I'm just being optimistic, but I really hope that's the case, because I don't think anyone wants to lose him. The room doesn't want to lose him. I don't think he wants to go to a different team, especially if it's a team that's not in contention like the Sabres. So I have a feeling it's going to work. I really do.
We'll see what happens. I mean, how much of a pay cut is he willing to take? I think that you get, like, we've never seen creativity when it comes to contracts and with the Sabres, at least never in the Kevin Adams era. And that's one of the things that he was criticized a lot about, you know, like front loading contracts, like you said, to your point, what you just said. Yeah, man, like, I have to imagine that if they reach a stalemate and it's like Yarmo throws his hands in the air, he's like, hey, man, like, I want to keep you. Like, I want to keep you. We need you. You're important to this room. You're important to this team on and off the ice, but we can't afford to pay 10.5 or 10. Can you meet us at 9.5? Like, we have to get Benson signed. We have to get Kelsering signed. Like, you have to understand this is a small market. We still have the same owner. Like, that hasn't changed. Like, I think that you could be right that maybe he would, you know, and you could always find a different way to make up that money, right? Like, endorsements are real. I mean, Josh Allen has how many local endorsements? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's a way to make that happen for him.
Yeah, I think so too. And he doesn't seem like the type of guy that necessarily would be greedy or would prioritize making $20 million more dollars or $10 million more dollars. Obviously, you want to secure your family's future and make as much as you possibly can on like what likely will be your last big deal. But if it's 50 million compared to 70 million or 55 million compared to 65 million, I think they can draft up the contract intelligently where it makes sense for both sides. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to kick it back to our sponsors here real quick. Shout out again to Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you want to get a beer, celebrate a Sabres win, happy hour, you want to go to trivia, they have it all over at Fatty Beer. So make sure you check them out. Locations located in places like Lancaster, Orchard Park, Hamburg, Kenmore, North Tonawanda, Amherst, Rochester, even Ohio, believe it or not. Downtown location is always bumping. Me and those guys from the, Jake and Jordan from the podcast, I think that's probably where we're going to head, is the downtown Fatty location before the Pittsburgh game next week. So again, just let them know we sent you. Extreme Discount Mattress. If you need a quality mattress or adjustable bed, check out any one of their 7 locations across Western New York, or check out their website, extrememattress.com. That is Extreme with an X, or their new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga. 80% off their already low prices. You can save a fortune on one-of-a-kind closeouts and floor samples. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And remember, if you mention that you are a fan of Two Goalies with Mike, you get a free mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress. And as always, Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. Hey, Western New York. Excuse me. I just completely ruined that ad read there. Unfortunately,
it happens. Big night. It happens.
It happens. I feel bad right now. I can't. I got to get rid of that comment. Oh wow, I just butchered that. Sorry, Impulse Physical Therapy. But yeah, if you want to exceed your goals and expectations, come experience the Impulse difference today. I mentioned this for a discounted $77 assessment. Man, that completely threw me off. I was waiting for the next line to pop up and I didn't realize the comment was covering it. But no, Impulse Physical Therapy. If you have any work-related injury, sports-related injury, they're an incredible 5-star staff, 5-star facilities. located at 5087 Broadway in Suite 100 Depew, New York, right next to Catalyst Fitness. I'm going there once every other week to get my leg worked on. I'm working my ass off, try to get back on the ice after a pretty traumatic leg injury last year. So make sure you give him a shout. Let him know. Ask for Alex and let him know we sent you over here. 2 goalies, 1 mic. Get yourself a free get yourself a $77 assessment. Your final thoughts coming out of this game tonight. Obviously, there's a lot of positive to take from this. Scoreboard, Hurls didn't go exactly Buffalo's way tonight. However, we did get a Florida loss and I think a Detroit loss, but both Boston and Montreal did win in overtime. So your final thoughts coming out of a huge divisional win.
My first final thought is that I don't care about the out-of-town scoreboard. I'm not even going to look at it because the only thing that matters, and I think the only thing that matters to this Sabres group, is what's in that room and what's on that bench and what's on that ice. And they stare down, especially in the past month and a half, and I would say for other points throughout this season, they stare down whatever's in front of them, and they come together as a team, and they find ways to win games, whether it's scoring 7 goals like they did tonight, a shutout like they did last game, really good goaltending like they've had for most of this month, protecting leads in the third period, blowing leads in the third period, but still winning the game. They have won in every single which way over the course of this 22-game stretch, 19-3-1, and it is truly unlike anything I think a lot of us have experienced as Sabres fans, and that includes the teams of 2005, 2006, and 2006, 2007. This has a really special feeling to it. Obviously, they haven't accomplished anything yet, but I do think the light is at the end of the tunnel. And, of course, there's a long way to go, 29 games to go in the regular season, but I don't think it's outlandish for us to start thinking a little bit further than just playoffs, than just getting there. I think we can think about winning rounds. I think we can think about going on a 2019 Blues-style run. I think this team has as much talent. The goaltending is just as good. It seems like the coaching has really come around. The power play was pretty good tonight. Hopefully that continues. And it's just really, really special.
Hot and cold with the power play, though, man.
Yeah, really I mean, it's got to be better. Face-off's got to be better.
Speaking of face-offs,
there's some injury things to work out, but next man up, they're doing everything they possibly can to win. So, and shout out to Rasmus Dahlin and his fiance, Carolina Madovac. I cannot even imagine what they've gone through mentally, emotionally, physically in the past year and I guess 6-7 months. But for him to do what he did tonight is really, really special. And I hope
she was
as much to him and to his family as it does to us.
You have to imagine she's smiling ear to ear. And at any point with her condition, that if she can travel to Buffalo this season, I'm not sure. I'm very uneducated how all that stuff works, like when she's okay to travel. I mean, if they show her on the Jumbotron that she's in Buffalo, that building will fucking erupt.
Yeah, and who knows? Like, I think the guys rally around different things. Sometimes you need different areas of motivation, but knowing that their captain had experienced this going into the season and was still there for opening night and still played through what was probably unimaginable pain. I think a lot of people have said certain things about Dahlin's captaincy, whether he deserved it or not, whether it was kind of like a nepo pick, given that he was the number 1 overall pick. I think he has silenced those doubters as much as he possibly can with what we've learned that he's dealt with in the past year. I think his leadership and his commitment to this franchise cannot be questioned anymore, if it was at all by whoever was questioning it. And I don't think there's anybody that's better to lead this team right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like perseverance, dedication, any word you could think of, you could slot it right underneath words that describe Rasmus Dahlin, especially this season. One note too, from a fan, I guess Kulik has been skating recently, so if that is true, that is a good sign. Just another guy to add to this lineup.
Speaking of like really scary medical conditions, like
blood clot.
That blood clot is no joke, and Hopefully he's been able to work through that. I know Victor Wembanyama dealt with that at the end of last season, and he's been able to come back and be productive this year. So I think that, especially for a young guy in a different body type, of course, but I think that at least provides some hope in a professional sports setting. So hopefully he's taking the time that he needs. And you add Kulich to this lineup, you add Josh Norris to this lineup, you get Connor Timmins back, you get UPL back. I don't know. I think this team could go on a run. I really do.
I think so too. And adding a talent like Kulich back, even if he's at like 75%, that's still going to help your team. Welcome to the chat and welcome to the show. Great Lakes van life. Man, I want to. Is that? Do you think a guy? Do you travel all over the Great Lakes and live in a van down by the river? not trying to poke fun, but I love that name. And I just love a chance to make a Chris Farley reference. To all your points, Hurls, absolutely agree. And hopefully Josh Norris gets back soon too. And, I know he was put back to day and saves us in the face-off circle, hopefully. And, I have to imagine that Jarmo has something planned or up his sleeve. We'll see what the seriousness of this UPL injury is. Again, hopefully it's nothing too serious given his injury history. But again, we will see. With that being said, guys, if you have enjoyed this content, please make sure you are hammering that like button, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. We're en route to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Never really ever thought that would have been possible once we started this podcast, but we're right there. So please make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when we go live. If you're watching along on Twitter, please make sure you're following myself at Duane S39, my co-host Connor Hurley at CHurls13, and you're following the podcast at Two Goalies One Mic, audio only. We are on Apple and Spotify. Just got to type in Two Goalies One Mic. You can find us there. Leave us a sweet review, 5-star review. That would be awesome. And we will talk to you. When's the next game, girls?
Thursday against the Los Angeles Kings.
Ooh,
a team I am extremely familiar with and
yes,
play at
their
facility 4 times a week. They are struggling this year. They've been better on the road than they've been at home, but they cannot score. They really, really struggle to score. So
yeah,
I think it's a good matchup for the Sabres. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well,
Darcy Kemper's hurt as well. So,
and real quick shout out in the chat to Husky Cards TCG. Welcome to the program. Thanks for popping in. Welcome to the show, Brady Bunch. Thanks for popping in, as well as anybody else who hasn't been in the chat before. Great Lakes Van Life, James Payne. Haven't seen you yet. Thanks for popping in. Always appreciate you guys. We will talk to you soon. And as always, go Sabres. Go Dahlin. Couple clicks for a Dahlin, everybody. Talk to you later.